Russia is still aiming to manage a victory in Ukraine by 2026, reported Budanov. What's the situation on the front line? The armed forces received 18 Ukrainian-made Bohdana self-propelled howitzers funded by Denmark. More than 100 Ukrainian defenders were released from Russian captivity. Hi, I'm Iva Kucherenko, and this is United 24 Media. Russian forces hit a residential building in Kharkiv with a guided aerial bomb on September 15. The body of a woman killed in the attack was found under the rubble by rescue workers. Another 43 civilians were injured, reported the local governor. 14 residents needed hospitalization, among them 2 children.
Everything was blown out. I had to run through the rooms. No glass, no frames, nothing left. I live on the 9th floor.
That evening, in his address, the Ukrainian president stated that Russian troops used 4 guided aerial bombs on Kharkiv. One targeted the city, while 3 others hit villages in the region. According to Zelensky, there are more than 100 airstrikes of this kind every day.
Just in the past 24 hours, 128 guided aerial bombs were used. The only way to counter this terror is with a systemic solution, and that solution is long-range capabilities, enabling us to destroy Russian military aircrafts at their bases. This is an obvious, sensible decision.
Ukraine's request to strike Russian territory using Western weapons is solely focused on targeting military objectives, such as air bases, stated Volodymyr Zelensky. In an interview with CNN's Farid Zakaria, he underlined that Russia is using around 4,000 aerial bombs per month to strike the east of Ukraine alone. Moscow is targeting schools, universities, and Ukraine's energy infrastructure, the latter of which 80% has been destroyed.
We had some meetings with officials, and I said, we waited too long. Now Russia began to move their jets from 100, 150 kilometers, 300 to 500. After that, I will tell you, and that now we need more permissions.
Do you have permission now to?
No, till now, no.
Over the weekend, the armed forces received 18 Ukrainian-made Bohdana self-propelled howitzers funded by Denmark. This marks the first time an EU country has allocated funds specifically for purchasing military equipment from Ukrainian manufacturers. According to the Danish Minister of Defense, Troels Lund Poulsen, Copenhagen placed an order in July for the production of 18 Bohdana artillery systems. Watch more about the Ukrainian-made howitzers on our YouTube channel. Ukraine has commenced the domestic production of 155mm artillery shells, reported Alexander Kamyshin, the president's strategic advisor and former Ukrainian Minister of Strategic Industries. During an interview with Norwegian media Nettavisen, he also highlighted that defense production in Ukraine has doubled since the onset of the full-scale war with Russia, and he expects this output to triple by the end of 2024. Russia is still aiming to manage a victory in Ukraine by 2026, reported Kirill Budanov, head of the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine.
They forecast that in summer 2025, their problems will be much worse because several factors will emerge at that time. Financial problems, lack of recruits before drafting, and they will either have to announce mobilization or reduce the intensity of military actions, which will be very critical for them.
According to Budanov, failure to secure a victory in Ukraine by early 2026 will undermine Russia's aspirations of remaining a global superpower for the next 30 years. He claims that the Ukrainian incursion into the Kursk region has also eroded Russian public perception of the invincibility of their state. Meanwhile, in the Kursk region, on September 14th, Ukrainian paratroopers decimated a Russian airborne military convoy consisting of at least 14 armored units. 5 AFVs, a tank, and an armored personnel carrier were blown up, leaving numerous Russian soldiers dead on the battlefield. The surviving Russians retreated. In the Kursk region, Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations throughout their salient in the cross-border region, advancing on September 14th to Glushkovsky district. As of now, Ukraine controls more than 100 settlements and around 1,300 square kilometers of Russian territory. Throughout the frontline, Russians continue to try and push Ukrainian forces away from their positions in the Pokrovsk and Toretsk direction, but to little effect, reports the Institute for the Study of War. The General Staff of Ukraine in their daily update on September 16th stated that in the Kurakhove direction alone, soldiers fought back 42 Russian assaults in the same day. Latvia will provide Ukraine with British CVRT armored fighting vehicles. The press department of the Ministry of Defense of Latvia confirmed this news on September 15th. Riga procured 123 tracked combat reconnaissance vehicles from the UK back in 2014. 116 have been upgraded. In compliance with operational security, the Ministry of Defense of Latvia did not disclose the specific number of machines to be transferred. More than 100 Ukrainian prisoners of war came back home on Saturday. The vast majority of them have been held since the first days of the war, stated the Ukrainian Parliament Commissioner for Human Rights Dmytro Lubinets. The exchange involved 103 military personnel, with 82 being enlisted soldiers and sergeants and 21 officers. Many were involved in the defense of key locations such as Mariupol, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, Kharkiv, Kyiv, and Chernobyl. Among those released are defenders from the Azov Brigade of the National Guard, the 36th Marine Brigade, and representatives of the Kraken Special Forces. The exchange was facilitated by the United Arab Emirates. In just 2 days, Friday and Saturday, 152 people were returned from Russian captivity. That's it for today. We're United 24 Media. Thanks for being with us and see you on Wednesday.